Hi, hello, vanakkam, namaste to your channel Learning Legacy with your friend Siddharth here. So today's session will be on deriving Wein's and Rayleigh Jeans formula from the Planck's law. In the previous sessions, if you remember, we studied how Wein's law was able to satisfy the lower ranges of wavelength and the Rayleigh Jeans law satisfying the higher ranges of the wavelength of the experimental curve that was determined by the scientists in the lab. So today we will be using Planck's law to derive into Wein's and Rayleigh Jeans formula. As it satisfies both these graphs, it should be able to. So we all know E lambda d lambda is equal to 8 pi hc by lambda power 5 into 1 by e power hc by lambda kt minus 1 is the Planck's law that we got. So if you want to derive into the Wein's law, we should be using for shorter wavelength. Here we divide into two cases, for shorter wavelength and for longer wavelength. In shorter wavelength, e power hc by lambda kt will be much greater than 1, obviously, because if lambda's value is much lesser, so the e power hc by kt, this value will be much greater than 1. So e power hc by lambda kt minus 1 will be neglected, so it will be equal to e power hc by lambda kt. So we get the Wein's law by substituting C1 is equal to 8 pi hc and C2 is equal to hc by k. We have already seen Wein's law states that E lambda d lambda is equal to C1 into lambda power minus 5 into E power minus C2 by lambda d. So when we move on to Rayleigh Jeans formula. So in Rayleigh Jeans formula, as we know, it is for the longer wavelength, so lambda is much greater than. So E lambda d lambda is equal to 8 pi hc by lambda power 5 into 1 by e power hc by lambda kt minus 1. Here a thing to notice is we can take a case like if x is much greater and we have e power x, it can be written as x plus 1. That is the logic we used in this derivation. So according to this logic, we can write e power hc by lambda kt as 1 plus hc by lambda kt. So we wrote it, and after those cancellations, we will directly get Rayleigh Jeans formula as we all wanted. So that's it for today, guys. Hope everything was clear today. We'll meet with another great video in another great day. If you like the video, please like, share and subscribe. It is Learning Legacy. It's where your legacy for learning begins.